Ladies and gents, welcome to episode 1 of Waffles with Wozz. Yeah, I came up with that name all by myself, no apologies whatsoever. A format that's unashamedly stolen from a whole bunch of other streamers who do pretty much the same thing. It's a weekly summary of what's going on in the world of Wozz and our community, which is, I'm very pleased to say, growing. So, I'll start off with a weekly stream schedule because we do one community event a week, which currently usually takes place in the game of Elite Dangerous. So if you're an Elite Dangerous player, you want to join in with some exploration, some money making, which we do very regularly, then feel free to join the Discord, which will be in the video description down below for the link. And everybody's welcome. Tuesday, we're streaming Space Engineers. Currently that's going to be myself and another community member called Naz, who's going to show me the ropes, because I've never played Space Engineers before, and Naz very kindly bought me the game. If we can squeeze a few more people into that game, we will certainly do so. On Thursday, capitalising on Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2 being made freely available on Epic, we're going to have a go as a community in playing that. I'm not sure how that will go. I believe that PvP is pretty intense and full of hackers. I played the beta but didn't buy the game, which is usually a good indicator for me. But we'll have a go anyway, see how that goes. And then Sunday, myself and another community member called Trixie will be playing Kerbal Space Program, both of us for the first time. So if you want to come and have a laugh at people fumbling their way through a space game, Sunday's the night. And then next Tuesday, we will look to start an Elite Dangerous event. So that would be Tuesday, the 26th of January. We will look to doing an Elite Dangerous event which incorporates community members. Now currently the plan is that we are going to do a flight to Sagittarius A black hole, and maybe visit another few POIs en route. So for those of you who are regular watchers of the stream, you will already know this, but I undertook a nearly 5 month trial of streaming on Twitch. And it was great to start with. I was streaming a game called Dual Universe and developed very quickly a good following. But what became apparent is I streamed that for 3 months, nearly 4 months. And as that tailed off, as the content became fairly sparse in the game, I started streaming other games. The viewership tailed off a little bit. The core community stuck around. But it became apparent very quickly that people were... the community was wrapping around the game rather than the games wrapping around the community. So my preference is to develop the community and then have multiple games that everyone can get involved in. So to that end, and given the trial on Twitch started to diminish in numbers, people were joining the chat for the giveaway points but not actually actively viewing the game. So the viewership dropped really low. Whilst I had 25 people in chat, I might only have 2 people Twitch counted as viewers, because if you watch and have the volume off, then you're not counted as a viewer. So after a little bit of consultation with some of the most regular community members, I made the decision to switch back to YouTube for streaming. So those streams now take place Tuesday, Thursdays and Sunday evenings from 7 PM GMT to about 11 PM, sometimes 12. Last night I was given an extra hour to stream by my wife. So if you want to get involved in any of those games, or indeed if you have any other games that you would like to see, to play with me in the community, or just to show us, then feel free to join the Discord. That's where everything happens, really. But for now, for the foreseeable future, not saying never, all streams will be taking place back on YouTube. The other primary reason for picking YouTube as well is that Twitch, with their associate partners, which I was, doesn't give them the full control over resolution, whereas a full partner on YouTube, the viewers can get the highest quality possible. So there you go. So, as a bit of a recap, what games am I currently playing? Well, I played Dual Universe for a long time, and I think that game I played in alpha, so I invested as a Kickstarter, I guess Kickstarter, an alpha backer, let's call it that, and played through the beta launch, and I think it warrants a separate review video on its own, so I'm going to do that this week hopefully and put out a review, because I think there's some really, really good elements of the game which will appeal to a large number of people. But equally, I think if you're looking for the MMO possibly as it's described, you may be disappointed. And I'll cover more about that in the video. So I was playing dual universe until recently, and I was fulfilling an industrialist role, and that was good. There was a couple of really big dramatic events that took place in the game, a lot of dissatisfaction with the developers. It felt like NovaQuark, who are doing a really good job of keeping the game going and trying to create events for players to get involved with. Most players have drifted away from the game, that I've spoken to anyway, because of the lack of content. There will never be any PvE content. The most they have committed to is putting some pets in the game. So without any PvE content, it's pure sandbox, and it's completely down to player generated events. Now I think in that instance you have to really, really love the game and the building aspect of the game, because the game involves crafting and building, and that is essentially it. The PvP at the moment is minuscule to non-existent. If there are scheduled player events, there is no it's not like playing Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen. You don't fly and aim, you have a gunner. So yeah, I was playing Dual Universe up until very recently. Stopped playing that around just before Christmas. Have drifted now towards Elite Dangerous, and as many of you know, the advent of Odyssey is nearly upon us, and Odyssey being the DLC for Elite Dangerous, which introduces what's affectionately termed space legs, which is FPS combat. There have been a number of rumours as to what the launch date will be, and I think it's been pushed back slightly for full release now till May, possibly the end of May, although I think if you buy the game on Steam you can invest an extra £10 sterling, whatever that is in your local currency, and you can get access to the alpha, which will give you access to it in April. I probably won't invest in the alpha access. I'll probably wait until full release, because it feels a little bit like somebody's digging for gold by saying, well, give us £10 and we'll let you access a little bit earlier. It just doesn't sit well with me. So when that launches, we will be increasing the schedule for streaming to involve more people and get some FPS gameplay involved in that. So if you'd like to play Elite Dangerous with us, get into that Discord link, get into the Elite Dangerous channel, and certainly join us for the exploration to Sagittarius A. We also do regular events like bounty hunting, with a fairly recent increase in the amount of money you can make from bounty hunting. That's now proving to be a pretty profitable endeavour. I think last night we spent about 4 hours bounty hunting, and we made possibly somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 million. Potentially not as lucrative as mining, but certainly more enjoyable for some people, although I quite like mining as well. Cyberpunk 2077. Well, wasn't that just an enormous shitstorm? I mean, for those of you who've been on this YouTube channel for a long period of time, from when I started creating content, you will know that my channel was born out of CD Projekt Red, Witcher 3. It was a time in my life when I had plenty of time on my hands, and I elected to make build guides for Witcher 3, and the channel kind of took off really quickly. More by luck than design. So CD Projekt Red has always had a really soft... I've always had a soft spot in my heart for CD Projekt Red, and I've always respected them as a developer until now. Now, there were a few things that happened on the run-up to the release of Cyberpunk 2077, which kind of soured the experience for me. One was my mistake, which I held my hands up to, but it makes no difference. CD Projekt Red really, I think, overhyped the game to the point where people were so excited that this was going to be an absolute, market-busting, game-changing game, that when they got into it and found out it was just like GTA 5 with a few tweaks, people were disappointed. Not to mention the old-gen console issues, the bugs. I mean, I've been very lucky in my playthrough of the game, and I may do a build guide on the one build that I played through. It was with a corporate stealth hacker. I was lucky that I avoided most bugs. That I did have people who had corrupted the game saves and couldn't continue and had to restart from scratch. So really not something you'd expect from allegedly a AAA title. The hype from CD Projekt Red, and allegedly the gameplay, in inverted commas, footage that was released of the game was actually crafted. It wasn't gameplay. So I think there were some fairly salubrious activities that were undertaken by the developer. Whether that came from the top and the exec team or not, I don't know. Now, I've always held CD Projekt Red in high regard because of the values that they place upon their relationship with the community, and they just managed to destroy that in one fell swoop. On the run-up to the release of the game, now I had no issue with the pushback on the dates. I'm always a firm believer that if a developer says, no, we need more time to get this game out, certainly without any commercial pressures pushing them to release early, then that's fine, in my opinion. But what actually happened with Cyberpunk on the run-up to the release, I was running a giveaway, and at the time I was streaming on my Twitch channel, so I ran 2 giveaways for full copies of the game. And I joined the CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077 Discord server. And I read the rules, and it was, in my opinion, fairly ambiguous. So I read the rule, and it said, don't undertake any self-promotion. And in hindsight, what I did probably was self-promotion. But I went to the one of the channels on the server, and I looked, and there was a bunch of people posting links to YouTube videos that people were making about the game. So I thought, okay, if people are posting links to their or other people's YouTube channels, then it's probably okay to post a link to mine for the giveaway. You know, and I thought, there's no such thing as bad PR. So I posted the link, and instantly, within 2 minutes, was kicked and banned. So a fellow content creator of mine from the Dual Universe community contacted the community manager on the Discord server and said, look, this guy made a mistake, he did read the rules, and he's just said, look, can you apologise for me? I checked and double checked, and obviously misunderstood. It was a genuine mistake. You know, I always hold my hands up if I've messed up, or if I'd have done it sneakily, which I don't do. Those of you who know me don't know I don't do that. And the response that came back from the community manager was, tell him to enjoy his perma-ban, and if you keep talking about it, I'm going to kick and ban you as well. Now bear in mind, this was somebody offering an apology on my behalf, saying, yep, he appreciates he did wrong now, he wasn't sure on the rules. I did actually send a message to a moderator on the server to ask, and got no response. So that really soured the relationship for me, because I always thought CD Projekt Red would, you know, at least give me the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, you know, delete, or even just message me and say, remove your own post, remove your post, that's not allowed. And I'd have gone, yep, fine, no problem, sorry about that. So that kind of soured the relationship with me. But I thought, well, I'm still going to make content, because, you know, if Cyberpunk 2077 is anything like Witcher 3, I'm going to have a lot of fun making builds in the game. And that turned out not to be the case. My playthrough, the main story, was pretty short, and I had no motivation after playing through the story, the very short story, no motivation whatsoever to play through it again. No, a few people in the community, in our community, have played through, but my plan to make build guides kind of fell by the wayside with my dissatisfaction of the game at release, with the way that CD Projekt Red had treated the community at large, and, you know, for want of a better phrase, basically lying by misrepresenting gameplay in the video that was released in, I think, 2018, 48-minute gameplay video, which actually wasn't gameplay because the game wasn't in a playable state then. So with regards to Cyberpunk 2077, I am still playing it just because I want to hit max level and max out my build. I will probably do one video to show the build that I've created. It's pretty good. I mean, you don't really need to do any combat. It's all stealth hacking, so you can take down entire buildings full of mobs without ever being seen, without ever pulling your pistol out, or I have pistols in the build, so there you go. But the one thing to bear in mind with Cyberpunk 2077 is that there will be an online version in 2022. Now I'm hoping that by then the game will be polished, and we may see a very exciting version of kind of a new GTA Online, GTA 5 Online. So that's one to watch out for. Other games that I've been playing to a lesser extent, and I think I'm probably going to start doing game reviews now, because I flick about all over the place and variety stream like you wouldn't believe. I bought a copy of a game called Generation Zero, which came out a few years ago, I think now, which is a survival game based in Sweden, where robots have taken over, and I think it's based in the 1980s. It's okay. I mean, I'm going to keep playing through that, and I will make a review at some point and let everyone know how I feel about it. I also have a friend who has a copy of the game, and we're going to try some co-op gameplay as well to see how that pans out. It's okay. Now, from the reviews that I've seen from other people, they say that the game is you move to a new location, you set up a base, You kill some robots, you craft some items, you gather some items, then you move to a new location and you rinse repeat. And I think I'm on about my 4th or 5th location now. I'm not anywhere near a high level, and it feels like that could just be the game. So there's one to watch. I will definitely put out a review about that. I'm still playing Overwatch, which I'm not very good at, but I still play because I enjoy in small doses. Those of you who watch the stream will know that I've enjoyed playing Starship Evo. That's going to be something I'm going to feature more in the future as that develops. It's a fabulous game if you don't know. It's kind of like a building game. It's not voxel based, I don't think, but it's a much easier game to build in than Dual Universe, whereas Dual Universe has a very convoluted and very specific mechanic to building on voxels. If you want to build a diagonal wall in Dual Universe, then you have to go and get all kinds of reactors and things unless you use somebody else's library. None of that with Starship Evo. I believe the game is being developed by one person based in Japan, and it already feels really good. You can build entire spaceships, including all the systems in the ships and connecting them all, so you've got a drag. You can build your own gun types. It's really, really good fun. So if you like that building element but you don't like a really complex, just obsessing over a tiny object just to make it look how you want, then possibly Starship Evo might be the game for you. Satisfactory, I've been playing some of that again. I've started a fresh game. I know that most people who know Satisfactory know what it's all about by now, and there are people out there streaming who have made some of the most amazing factories you could ever possibly imagine. But I'm going to start and give that a go as well, so that's going to be on the radar for this year. And also dabbled with some of the community members in Team Fortress 2, so if anyone fancies playing as a group in Team Fortress 2, give us a shout, join the Discord, and let's get that moving. As I said, we want to develop a community which we wrap games around. So other games that I've played in 2020, which I think are good to keep on the radar for this year, particularly from Amazon Game Studios' New World, which is currently in alpha. Now, bizarrely, I have access to the beta whenever the full beta lands. I have actually played in the alpha, so I was invited to the first alpha when it happened last year. I think it was very early on in the year, around March, April time, and I played in the alpha, and it was okay. It was lacking content. I played a staff-based healer and then a staff-based mage, and I think, given that some people have streamed that content from the beta, it's not breaking the NDA to say that at that point in time the aiming system for healing was very hit and miss, especially if your aim is as crap as mine. So, but I'm really excited for that one. It's an MMO from Amazon Game Studios, the first really, really big title, MMO title from Amazon Game Studios. So, fingers crossed that will go into beta at some time this year and possibly full release. And I will bring that to you on stream and in content as soon as possible. I've been playing another game on the Epic Store as well called Among Trees, which is a single-player survival game. That's really good. So more of that. It's a, craft your base, you start with a hut and you're in a forest, and a little bit like, I think it's called After Dark. Is it After Dark, the Canadian snowy one? Can't remember. Anyway, and then in terms of upcoming games, the games that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment, which both of which I think go into early access, and possibly this week if not already, Everspace 2, which is a single player space game, which I always love a bit of space-based pew pew. I have my joysticks at the ready, and then Dyson Sphere program. So I think that comes out next week, and that is a space building game. And a Dyson Sphere, if you don't know, is it's the concept of building, I guess, like an exoskeleton around a planet. So building a space station that wraps around a planet, I think. So there you go. So that's what's happening in the world of Wozz. Really, really disappointed with CD Projekt Red. I guess the other big news is that Disney have relinquished the exclusivity clause in the contract with Electronic Arts to make Star Wars games, which came out as fantastic news. I was absolutely delighted and over the moon. I was thinking about all the games there was a couple of Star Wars games that didn't make it through to development, and I was hoping that somebody would pick those up again. Possibly even, who knows, maybe a Star Wars Galaxies 2. But then they announced who the first developer, the first game announcement was with Ubisoft, and my heart sank, because it's Ubisoft, and they'll do whatever they always do, which is create the Division, the Star Wars Division, or the open world game, which is like the Division or Ghost Recon Breakpoint or whatever it's called. I don't know. So a little bit disappointed about that. I'm really hoping that they'll get some sort of niche indie developer in, give them some funding and say, let's just be imaginative, go crazy, make Star Wars Galaxies 2. I think we should start a petition to make Star Wars Galaxies 2. And that's it in a nutshell. I'll take any feedback from people who are listening to this and saying, Wozz, what we want to hear is more of this and less of that. Like I said, I had a script here. I wrote out a couple of pages and I've just whizzed through it. I've missed a few bits off. The game that you're watching me play now is a game that I think is really exciting for the future. It feels great to play. And it's called Exo One, and it's effectively it's a game about this new spacecraft which works using gravity and is powered by moisture in the atmosphere or gas clouds or whatever. Anyway, there's very little known about it at the moment. It's been in development for some time. You can actually download a demo, I think free, on Steam and play it. I think you get maybe 2 or 3 planets that you can play through, and I did the full 3-planet playthrough. It feels really good to play, and it's these sorts of games that I love to see developers investing time in. Something different, something new, having new ideas. It's where I get really tired of the old Ubisoft and Electronic Arts formula of let's just crank out a new version of The Division. Same old, with DLCs and season passes and all of that. So there you go. We'll be streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. If anyone wants to make any suggestions as to games they'd like to see reviewed, then let me know. Again, this is a kind of a change of direction for me and for the channel. I've always focused on build guides previously, but like with Cyberpunk 2077, unlike Witcher 3 where I could just swap my builds around on the same character, I have to start a new playthrough just to create a new build, and it was too much of a time investment to get to level 50 and to get a full build out. That's probably not going to happen. That's it for this week. I'm going to put some serious thought into this format moving forward. Feels like some of this has been me moaning. I think I need to put some more market information in there. But yeah, Tuesday Space Engineers, Thursday's Battlefront 2 as a group, and then Sunday Kerbal Space Program. I hope to see you there. If not, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.